regard to Whelan, David Whelan said in his statement that I'm guessing you've seen by now that Paul worked so hard to survive for nearly 4 years. And he questioned, have you continued to survive day after day when you know that your government has failed twice, essentially painting a pretty hopeless picture for his brother. So are there any concerns that Paul Whelan will hurt himself? And are there any measures that the U.S. can take to ensure his well-being?
So look, all very good questions. And the president said this morning he understands how difficult a moment this is for the Whelan family. It is certainly not lost on us. As we have said, we've been speaking with the Whelan family, including today, and we're not going to certainly betray any that confidential conversation. You clearly have heard from the family directly in the statement. But look, what we are going to continue to do is we are going to continue to work to secure Paul's return, Paul's release. I think you can understand why we won't go into details, but of course, we're always concerned about the safety and the health of any American that is being held wrongfully detained and held hostage. And I'm not going to get into specifics on any future conversations that we may have with Paul and how that's going to our interaction with him is going to look like. One thing that I can say is our consular officers in Moscow were able to make contact with Paul on December 2nd, and as we know from that time, he was feeling well. He was in good health.
And just one more, and just to clarify, on December 2nd, he wasn't aware that this was happening. It wasn't until today.
Yeah, he was. We have made Paul Whelan aware of the exchange that happened today. He is aware of it.
One more on Brittany Griner. I understand how the deal went down and what the Russians were willing to give, but how do you dispel the public perception that if you are a celebrity or a professional athlete, you get preferential treatment in a situation like this?
Look, I want to be very clear here, and I think we've tried to lay this out in a clear way as well. So the president did, and my colleagues, as you've heard from them from the NSC. This was not a choice for us of which American to bring home. That was not the choice. It was a choice between bringing home one American or bringing home none, and we brought one home today, and that is important to note. And just like we were able to bring home Trevor Reed back in April. And through every step of this process, we have sought to bring Paul Whelan home, and that will not change. That will continue to be our commitment. Again, regrettably, due to nature of the totally illegitimate charges they levied against Paul, the Russians are treating this situation differently than Brittany's situation, and we have been unable to secure his release. We made every possible offer available to us to secure Paul's release, but there was no way to bring Paul home right now. We would have preferred, of course, we would have preferred to see them both released. That's what we've been calling on. That's what you've been hearing from me and the president this past year. But we did not want to lose the opportunity before us to secure the release of one of them. And so that was the choice, one or none. And not which one. It was either none or one. And so our efforts to bring Paul home will continue. It will not stop. The U.S. government continues to encourage the Russian government through every contact with them, through every channels to secure his release. And we want them to do it in good faith.